So I have on the line with me now a mother from James Madison High School in New York City, and she's going to share with us some of what happened over the past 24 hours, where the school basically shut down in-person learning to make room for illegals to come sleep in the school. So tell us a little bit about what happened when were you made aware? What was your reaction? Tell us your side.
Okay, so I was made aware. Apparently, there was information circulating around on social media that this was going to happen. Soon after I found out from friends who were sending me messages, is this true? An email came through from the school around 1 p.m. notifying parents that this will be happening. Um, my daughter called me soon after, letting me know that this is what's happening. I guess they told them during class time. She said it was like a 10-minute thing that the migrants are going to be coming in, and they will be notified whether there's school tomorrow or not. Right thereafter, I started making phone calls. Floyd Bennett Field doesn't have the resources or anything to support these people on regular times, much less when it gets cold and it's 30 degrees outside and there's a storm. It fell on deaf ears. Nothing was answered by the upper levels of the government. And here we are. So now it's, from what I understand, this is the governor's decision and the Mayor Adams' decision. I want to make it very clear that the principal of the school basically yesterday was doing damage control. I mean, she was put in a position. This is no fault of hers. I want to make that very clear. She was just put in this position and had to make the best of what was happening. Um, Parents are livid. The parent community are livid. It is terrible what's happening. We are concerned for our kids.
So they
That
didn't, so the school informed the parents earlier that migrants were going to be coming into the school?
Yes, they informed us that migrants are coming to the school around 1 p.m. yesterday.
They informed the
12 some
parents.
12:50. I want to give you exact times because I'm looking at 12:50. Okay. And pivot to remote learning. That decision, it was sent out at 4:08 p.m.
Wow, so you basically had to quickly figure out at 4 o'clock, what you're going to do the next day. I'm sure.
Correct.
Have you heard from any
Correct.
parents or you yourself like had to take off of work to deal with this?
Well, thankfully, I have the ability to be with my kid at home. And these
Mhm.
are teenagers you're talking about, which, yes, you do have some responsible teenagers, but for the most part, they still need to be, you know, supervised. They're
Have you heard
teenagers.
from any other parents that they had to take off of work to,
A bunch of parents had to take off of work.
wow. And they were
And
notified just the day before at 4 o'clock. A very small time frame to figure that out.
I'm assuming all the parents got the email the same time I did, which is
Right.
around 4 a.m.
Wow.
The meeting last night. It was very, very intense. Parents were clearly disturbed and very ticked off by what was happening. The person from the Office of Emergency Management was there, did a very poor job of of trying to convince us otherwise and turned it into a virtue signaling session of we should all be humanitarians and we should think about the fact that these are moms and dads also. And every parent who was voicing concerns were like, look, we are humanitarians, we are good people, we want the best for everyone, but not on the backs of our kids.
Right. You're right, exactly. It's not fair that kids are not getting proper in-person learning, because to make space for these people who are pouring into our country. Have you heard anything from other parents? What were some of the sentiments that they were saying?
Well, some of the parents' concerns, what I can tell you, some of the main concerns, and some of the things that were voiced. For example, our kids, they have to go in with their ID. It's a must, which I agree with because I believe every person, they should know exactly who's walking into that building, the time, it's time stamped. They know exactly what time a kid walks in with their IDs. They go through metal detectors daily. We have people that are coming in that are unvetted, that we have no idea of their background. They don't show a vax card when they walk in there. I'm sure they don't. and we don't know what they're carrying around in them. They're going to be all over that building. It's 1,900 of them. And another parent was also saying that they can come in, they can stash drugs, they can stash weapons, whether it's a gun or a knife or whatever, because I'm sure you're aware there was a stabbing at Floyd Bennett with these migrants.
Hmm.
And they can stash these things in the school. And God forbid, like when the kids go back to school tomorrow, one of these kids find this, whether it's drugs or a weapon. We were assured that the building is going to be completely sanitized, but we're not there. And that's why it was very disturbing to have one of the teachers come on and say that if you parents are so concerned, send your kids in with wipes, sanitizing wipes, and Lysol spray. That's disgusting.
A teacher said that at the board meeting?
At the meeting, yeah.
Wow. That's like a slap in the face.
Yes. And she also made it seem like, why are we making a big deal about this? One day of remote learning is not going to hurt anyone, that we did it for a year and a half. Apparently she's completely missing the point here. I mean, I love having my kids with me. It's not the fact that they're with us. Yes, thank God I have the ability to be home with my child. It's the principle behind this.
So tell me about the remote learning thing because on their website, their notification, it said something like the students would have to request like via email in advance if they wanted like an actual live teacher to teach them what is the actual learning. Is there actual learning?
So my daughter, I woke her up. She starts, her first class is at 7:20. Um, she she basically had to get up. There was a thing to sign if you're present, yes or no. That's what it was. And the only teacher that she got an email, whether you want to see this teacher or not, is the dance teacher.
How are you gonna
Yeah,
do dance on Zoom?
right, right.
Now, there was a notice sent out, which I also posted on Twitter, a couple months ago, actually, that the school was preparing for a remote learning plan. One would think that they would have a plan already in place after being shut down for a year and a half from COVID.
Yeah, they had a year and a half practice. They did.
Right. So it seems like they kind of like knew that this was an option. And then you mentioned that a few months ago when they announced that the migrants were going to be going to Bennett Field, this was a concern that came up that they would eventually be housed in schools. So it seems like the school and the city actually was planning this for a while.
When I got that email, um, they I saw that email back, I believe it's in November. And of course, your feelers go up. Okay, what's coming down the pike? Is it another pandemic they're planning? Is it, what's happening?
So today there was some kind of protest, a parent protest outside the school, and you attended. So tell me about what happened there. What did you see?
Apparently I got there late because I wanted to take my daughter. I want her to see these things and what's happening. She has to know. A lot of the mainstream media news people that was there, like ABC, they kept on trying to press, well, who do you blame for this? Democrats or Republicans? This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. It is an issue of our children in our area, and we need to take care of the situation.
100%. I think that our kids' education and our kids' safety is not something that should be political. Were the police also blocking off people from going and recording and seeing what's going on?
The cops actually were very nice, and they were actually talking after this whole thing was over this morning, the protest. And the cop goes, "Look, I completely understand you guys. Completely understand you."
And is there a worry among the parents that this is not going to be the last time this happens?
That is a big concern that was also raised at the meeting last night. They're saying, okay, this is the first major storm we had for the winter so far. We just got into the winter. We have another storm this weekend and probably in a week from now. So what's going to happen with every storm thereafter? Who's going to be the next school? Which school? It's obviously going to be a school.
And the notice about the remote learning plan was sent to all schools in the New York City school system. So, you know, which school is going to be the next target? I'm sure parents all over New York City are nervous about that.
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, we were the first schools to be hit up with this, so I'm guessing it's going to happen a little bit more often. And now that I know that more migrants are coming in daily,
Right.
so the problem is not stopping anytime soon.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Of
And thank you for all the work you've been doing. You're amazing.
course. Yeah.
Thank you.